All right, thank you. Courthouse Station, Arbor Woods versus Mark Rice.
For the record, Your Honor, Rachel Dornbush, Palace Law, on behalf of the plaintiff.
He's here. I don't know why this is on.
Your Honor, it appears to be a motion filed by the defendant to set aside the default judgment. Our office had filed an affidavit of non-compliance and request for entry of an order of eviction following a conditional dismissal. Mr. Rice filed a motion to set aside the default judgment, but Your Honor, there's nothing listed in the back in April.
After the COD?
After we prepared a conditional dismissal, because we got worksheets
Right.
from the caseworker. We prepared the conditional dismissal. I sent it to the caseworker. They then sent it for final approval for payout. And at that point had followed up with Mr. Rice, learned that he was in fact employed and receiving income, and the income he was receiving put him over the income limit. And therefore they were ultimately denying the application.
Okay.
I wasn't.
Hold on, Mr.
Sorry.
Rice. Hold on, just hold on. So, did they ask him about his income prior to? I mean, the only way, I'm just going to put it this way. Either they're saying that Mr. Rice was working, didn't disclose, or that they never asked him and then ultimately asked him. And then after everything's done, because if he was working, that should have been weeded out before you got the number.
He wasn't working initially, Your Honor. And then at the time they reviewed it for final approval, they got updated information from him, determined that he was then working, which made him ineligible for assistance. And I'm looking for the email that I received from the caseworker at that time, Your Honor. So bear with me. It's my recollection of what had ultimately occurred. And so TJ emailed me on April 20th and indicated that his case was denied on April 20th as the proof of income he provided put him over the income limit for assistance. So he's not receiving any assistance from Hawk. That was as of April 20th. At that time, my client was under the belief that Mr. Rice was in the process of vacating because there was a lot of activity going on at the home. I don't know if they saw moving trucks or what they saw, but ultimately we verified that Mr. Rice is still in fact in possession. The balance due at this time, Your Honor, is $10,194.15. That doesn't include the July $55 late fee. So when I add that on, it's an increase of another $55.
Okay, but here's I guess my concern. You said you got that email in June or in April?
April 20th, Your Honor, and we then began processing the affidavit of non-compliance. Ultimately, my client had been trying to reach Mr. Rice at that time because they thought he had vacated, and they had reached out to him and weren't able to verify with him. So when we filed the affidavit indicates that he may have vacated because he hadn't been returned. Since that time, they were able to verify he was in fact still occupying the property. And during that time, that's when he filed the motion to set aside. So
I'm still not following the timeline. If the email indicating that he was denied because of income was sent in April, why did I get at least it was received by our office, it's not, I don't think, dated. I got a conditional order of dismissal June 15th.
No, the conditional dismissal was submitted to the court on April 8th, Your Honor. I believe what you have there is the affidavit of non-compliance with the conditional dismissal attached. That may have
hang on. You might be right. Yes, it's signed by you. I just looked at your date. It's April 9th. Okay.
And at the time that I executed and finalized the conditional dismissal on April 8th, I was unaware that the denial had occurred just a few days before. I submitted the conditional dismissal to the caseworker on April 8th, and then received information from my client on April 19th that they thought perhaps he had vacated. So that prompted me to reach out to the caseworker to say, what's going on? He might have vacated. What's going to happen with this approval? And that's when TJ let me know that he had provided some sort of proof of income during that time, and it put him over the income limit. This was a case, Your Honor, that we initiated in October of 21, and I received the worksheets from the caseworker, looks like on March 24th. So I'm not sure at what point updated income information was provided to the caseworker, sometime after March 24th, but before April 4th, when TJ indicated the denial was entered. I believe that he qualified initially based on income at the time the application was submitted. But during that period, Mr. Rice returned to work. And actually, during that period, Mr. Rice had reached out to the landlord to say he wasn't even going to pursue the Sarah funds and that he was prepared to pay the entire balance on his own. That ultimately didn't happen because the Sarah worksheets were provided. I spoke with Mr. Rice and said, Mr. Rice, I know you said you were planning to pay, but it looks like the program is prepared to pay for you. What do you want to do? And he said, let's move forward with the Sarah funds. And that's why I prepared the conditional dismissal.
All right, Mr. Rice, when did you become employed?
I've been employed, but I was still going through the process of going to court.
Hold on a second. Well, hold on. Let me ask it a different way. Did between October of 2021 and April, let's say, of 2022, did you change jobs?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going up and down through layoffs.
No. Hold on. Just follow my question.
Okay.
You changed jobs. Did the job did at some point you all of a sudden start making more money?
Yeah. Yep. I made $1 more per hour doing my previous job. The Sierra knew about all this.
No, I know. I'm just trying to, in my head, sort this out because this seems crazy to me. So you were employed that whole period in time from October to April, you were employed, right?
Yeah.
And you sent the income information into the Sarah program.
Yeah.
Aaron, can you?
I'm trying to get more information from the file right now, Judge. If you have any specific questions, I can look them up.
Well, I'm trying to figure out at what point do you see when he submitted income information? Because if what he's saying, I can't believe that $1 more per hour all of a sudden kicked him over.
Yeah. I see that updated income information was submitted in April, early April.
Of this year.
Of this year, yeah. After which there are several notes that go through and kind of document them trying to figure out the calculations based on this updated information.
Okay. But
So
it
I'm
seems
trying
to me
to-
if that's in early April, at some point, somebody came to the conclusion in early April that he qualified because then they sent in March, they said he qualified.
Before the hearing, which led to the dismissal.
Yeah.
Who's talking? Because your lips aren't moving, Mr. Rice. Who's talking?
Oh,
Girlfriend.
talking to my girlfriend.
She's the one that helped you submit it?
No.
Yeah, don't even try it. She's the one that helped you do it.
No, I submitted everything.
No, I'm just thinking it. Do I need to speak to the brain trust or can I talk to you?
No, because we didn't been through this. It just don't make sense because on April the 4th.
Mr. Rice, calm down a second.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
The
I'm just
worksheets
trying-
were, go ahead,
Okay,
sorry.
go ahead. No, what were we gonna say?
The worksheets look like they were generated in late March. And then I guess updated income information was obtained in early April, after which they came to the new conclusion, but I can't really, there's not much I can tell you based on the notes that I'm seeing here. This one,
Okay, so here's my problem. My
Mhm.
problem is, and I'll just be blunt about it. If in October, if these cases had been, and I'm not blaming anybody, I'm just saying it is what it is. Had they gone through and been resolved, not after what, 6 months, what would have happened is his income, however they based that initially, would have been that. And so I guess I don't, I'm not getting is, well, first of all, Mr. Rice, when did you switch your job where you got the hour difference?
November.
In November. Okay, so when it's originally put in, then in November you have that, and then so he doesn't qualify. So when did they didn't request any updated information till April from you of income?
Yep. But I was approved after they gave me a denial notice, which don't make no sense. They called me on my phone and said, "No, you're approved. We're gonna go through court tomorrow." And
Hold
that's
on a
how.
second. That's right. Now I'm remembering. Because initially you were denied. And then we were here. There were a couple of cases. He was initially denied. And then, huh?
That's a different tenant, Your Honor. I believe that's another resident that's up today, where Your Honor had said that denial seems wrong and they corrected it. That's actually for a different case. I don't believe
Is it?
Mr. Rice was ever denied previously.
It was.
I've got notes
Clear as day.
from each appearance, and I've got on here that as of March 11th, that the caseworker was waiting on documents from the tenant. It wasn't specified exactly what was needed. And then on March 18th, there was a note that the worksheets had been completed. I received initial worksheets on March 18th, but there was an error, and I had asked them to re-review, and I got corrected worksheets on March 24th.
Got it. So, Mr. Rice, when was your denial?
2 days before I was reapproved. And then court was 4 days initially after they said I was denied, but 2 days I was denied. 2 days later, they say, "Hey, you're approved." We got the court.
This was in, hold on a second. Was this that was in late March or sometime in?
This was in early April. I didn't make the numbers up. I didn't put all
Sir,
that down.
I'm not asking you who did what. Just
Yeah.
answer my questions. All right. I don't need any.
Yes,
further
Your Honor.
time.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Honor.
So
It's
what I'm trying to figure out is, do you have a copy of the denial that you got sent?
yeah.
So,
Your Honor, I think the confusion here is that Mr. Rice was probably notified of the denial, and I wasn't notified, and the landlord wasn't notified. So I proceeded to prepare the conditional dismissal based off the worksheets that I had received. And I spoke with Mr. Rice saying, "These are the numbers we've been given. We'll do a conditional dismissal and enter it for court." So Mr. Rice may have gotten the denial from his caseworker at Hawk, but then I, not knowing the denial had occurred, contacted him to do the conditional dismissal because I had
Gotcha. Okay.
worksheets.
Got it. So that's, maybe I need to clarify that. So Mr. Rice, you got a denial. Did you then, who did you talk to after you got that denial?
I talked to, I'm gonna give you her first name and last name from Hawkins, because 2 days later she called me and said I was approved. And
Okay. Who was that? Give me the name.
All right, here it comes. It's Jennifer something.
Does that make any sense, Aaron, Jennifer?
She was the caseworker at one point, Your Honor.
Got
She's
it.
listed on the file.
Jennifer Diedrich.
Got it. So you're saying you got the denial, then you got a call from her. Aaron, did the notes in the file indicate anything like that in April?
That looks like how the timeline proceeded. But I'm remembering a recent similar case, and it might be the same one that Ms. Dornbush was referring to, I'm not sure, where there was a tenant who, when they applied, their income was within bounds of eligibility, and then they ended up getting a new job later on. And I think that was revisited and a denial brought back. And I'm
because at the time their income was whatever, so they were going to basically pay the period. They were approved at some. I got.
Yeah, I believe so.
So here's my question: If this case starts out in October, right? His job switches in November. So I'm not clear when they asked him initially for income information.
I'm not clear from these notes either. And
so, because here's what I'm worried about. If they'd never asked him for income information, or he would have had to send something. Then why is he now 6 months out before the denial happens in any event? That to me is a real problem.
Yep, I'm not quite clear on that from these notes either. I have a couple of questions I want to follow up with TJ and the reviewer.
And Your Honor, if I may, I'm in the process of drafting an email to TJ right now to let him know what has occurred this morning and forward. I would have no objection to adjourning this for a week to see if we can get some answers.
That's
but
where I would
have a question for Aaron. When was the application submitted? Though we filed this case in October, the first hearing wasn't until December 10th. And as of that date, Mr. Rice had appeared and indicated he had applied for Sarah, but I don't have the application date. So I don't know when it was originally submitted. And
this was submitted October 29th of 2021.
And that would be before his new income took effect.
And Ms. Dornbush, can you CC me on that as well, please? Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. And I will express to TJ the court's concerns with this, and hopefully that will escalate the review and maybe we'll have an answer.
Right. Well, yes, you can tell them that the court has concerns. They probably don't want to call me about right now, but and that, well, I think you get where I may be coming from, so I'm not going to say anything that'll probably get me in trouble.
Yes.
All right.
If I could get the Sarah application number just so I can reference that in the email to TJ.
Yes, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. 405948.
All right. So, Mr. Rice, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to adjourn this out to next week. That's in the afternoon only, right? All right. To July 15th, 2022. That'll be at 1 p.m. or as your Zoom invite indicates. So it'll be in the afternoon because of the way my docket's going to run. Okay. I'm going to have them check into everything there. I just need some questions answered. So at least I can tell you where you are on this whole thing. I will state for the record that when he filed this motion, he did post 1270, I think it was, in escrow. So he's good. Okay. All right, Mr. Rice.
All right. Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, I wasn't getting snappy. I was just a little
No,
frustrated.
I know you were frustrated, but when you get frustrated and you start saying stuff, that doesn't help me because I'm not there. I'm just trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, that's why I'm
You got me?
apologizing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, you no need to apologize because if you start getting that way, I'll shut you down.
No,
I
you've
don't have a
been
problem
there.
doing that.
No, don't be like that. Look,
No, I will. Let me just tell you, that's how I roll. You get that way, I'm going to shut you down. If you can see your screen, you see Mr. Addy nodding. He knows. All right.
You're right.
Okay.
We're good.
I accept your apology. We're fine,
Thank
sir.
you.
You take
Thank you.
care. You have a great weekend.
You too, Judge.